Well, good morning, welcome to another video on the channel. I may have got my timing slightly wrong again. So I've come down to Marsh Farm in Godalming, home of the giant crucian and very big tench. And yeah, it was a little bit cold last night. So, is it gonna work? I don't know. I think I did exactly the same thing last year. I still managed to catch, and it's gonna be hot today. But we can only try. We're here now. We can see what we can winkle out, basically. There is silverfish in here as well, plus perch and whatever else, bream. So, hopefully we'll catch something. Tench would be ideal though. So let's get the kit set up, see what we can catch. Well, I've got one on. One assumes it's a tench. It feels far too big to be a crucian. But I spent a little while on a float. I thought I didn't want to start the video in my usual way and have 6 hours of me talking nonsense before I actually managed to get a fish. I thought I'd leave it a while and see if I could actually get a fish on. It has been a while, it's been about two or three hours. Started on a float, had nothing at all, so changed over to the feeder. And it's a tench, lovely tench. And yeah, it hasn't taken long. Lovely. Absolutely mental now. It was actually fairly tame on the fight. Alright, well, let's rest him in the margin for a minute, and then we'll get him out. Now, one thing that I didn't bring with me, which I'm quite annoyed about, is a towel. So my hands are going to be very. Here he is. I'm keeping the net between my legs. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful tench. Oh, I'm so glad I've caught one. Oh, it's going to flip. I can feel it. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful spring colours. Ooh, yeah. Right, let's slip it back and see if we can get another one. Wipe this on my hoodie and take it off before I get in the car. Oh dear, right. Classic Tench Slimus down the hook link. Let's try and get some of that off. So yeah, very simple, usual feeder tactics, flatbed feeder, sliding on the line with a little quick change bead here, short hook link, bit of plastic horn. literally just put a small layer of ground bait on the feeder, and I'll normally pack that quite hard on there. Then the second layer, I fold the hook link in. Got too much line out. Fold the hook link in, and then just shower it over the top nice and gently, and then give it a squeeze. Not too hard. It's the finished product. I don't tend to use moulds anymore. I've got moulds for all of my feeders, but I just find this easier. I'm going to cast that over towards the far bank, not too close. And just sink the line. Lovely. Hopefully that's a sign that they're coming on the feed. We have had some warmer weather now. When I first got here and I was fishing, I was freezing. The wind is bitter. And yeah, I was staring at a float for a couple of hours without a single nibble. I'm glad the feed has come out and come good. Hopefully we can get some more. Marsh Farm is a fantastic venue. One of my very, very favourite places to go and fish. Normally from spring onwards, because it is predominantly a tench and sort of crucian water. There are silvers in here, but it's mainly the tench and crucians that you come here for. There is the very, very odd carp in here, but it's by no means a water that you bother targeting them on. I've caught a couple in my time. Which is always fun in a way, because you know you're normally using light lines. So when you hook a double-figured carp on a 2-pound hook link, it makes it interesting. I think it took about half an hour to get the last one in. That was a good couple of years ago now, though. But yeah, it's my go-to spring tench water. Now I think I have hit it slightly wrong. In the fact that I think it's still too cold. We're in, what are we now? Sort of early April. But we've had a little bit of hot weather. We've had a few days now where it's just been hot, like every day. But the temperature at the night is still cold, you know, single digits. So it's not quite there yet, but I thought I'd give it a go. And it hadn't worked up until now, to be honest. And I was starting to worry if I was actually going to catch anything, but a tench has graced the net. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. My first tench of the year. Hopefully, first of many, but we'll see. I've had it before where I've come here and caught one fish and thought, oh, here we go, and then nothing. Yet you get days here where you could have 20 odd. You know, decent tench and crucians. I think the crucians are less likely, but especially when you're using a feeder tactic like I am at the moment. I have had them on the feeder, but they seem to be a little bit more obliging on the float. But we'll continue with the feeder for a bit longer. I have been trickling bait into the margins, so I can go back on the float and see if anything's there in a little while. Well, nothing's happened on the feeder for quite a while. I've been trickling bait into the margins. And as we've got quite a nice kind of flat calm at the moment, it'd be silly not to give the float a go again. This is my problem. I do end up flitting about quite a lot. When I've got 2 rods set up, I end up fishing the float, then the feeder, then the float, then the feeder. But I just try and get the best out of the swim. I mean, if I stayed staring at the feeder for hours on end, it may have resulted in a fish, but I always think it's worth trying. Like the float, I could see that the float conditions are better now. It's much easier to see a very sort of sensitive float when there's no ripple. And I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably give it 20 minutes or so if there's nothing happening at all, no nibbles. Then I'll go back onto the feeder. Oh, there was a nibble then. Oh, nibble, nibble. I don't know if that's tiny fish. The problem is you've got to strike them. The smallest as nibbles, that could be a crucian. Because their biting is so light that you've got to strike just in case. Well, we've got a fish on. It's not the Tench or crucian we're after. Let's put it that way. It's a little bream. What was that, bream? Good bream. Might have a little bit of hybrid in him. Looks a bit roachy. Feels a bit roachy. Yeah, he's definitely a bit hybridy. He's a roachy breamy. Ooh. Well, lovely little fish. And it's something on the float, which is a first. I'm still struggling without a towel, so I'm literally wiping on this hoodie, which is now getting covered. Well, so getting covered, there's only had 2 fish, but a tench and a breamy type thing is enough. Is enough to make it messy. I'm getting a fair few bites. I've struck loads. I don't know if that's little bream, because the bites were very sensitive. That one wasn't so much. Or if there is some crucians down there, I do not know. No, there's one thing left that I can or could do to maybe get more bites. That is to change the float. Now, although this is a sensitive float, it is a waggler, but it's a very, very slim line and a very fine tip. But that's not as fine as I normally fish here. I'm normally on a pole float. And I don't know if that extra sensitivity is what I need for the crucians. Probably. But I normally have a float rod set up and a feeder rod set up. Sort of throughout the year, really. It changes here and there from when I'm on venues, but I thought I'd give this a go to start with. If I caught nothing, then I'd change it, which I may still do. Although I had that one fish, but once you've got a bit of a ripple on like I have now, it is harder to see a really sensitive bite. We'll continue with the float for a bit longer. We'll give it another 15 minutes or so now that I've had one. Let's see if something else comes along. If not, we'll switch back over to the feeder. Well, I've changed the float setup. So now on a very light. There we are. The barrel. Stick float. Stick float. Pole float. That's going to register all the bites that I probably didn't see before. So we'll give that a go for a while and hopefully something comes along. Well, it's not the biggest fish. It is a fish. It's more of a roach, this one. That's disgusting. It would have been fine if I had a towel, but I don't. Well, we've got another fish on, and it's another bream. This one's a bit bigger, well, quite a lot bigger actually. It's literally just come up to the surface and give up. Sliming all over me. There we go, look at that. Beautiful bream. Ooh, a few pound. Nice size. Ooh. I'm one of these weird people that actually like a bream. So I'm over the moon with that. Let's slip it back. Well, we've got another one of these bream on. Cool. They're a good stamp in here though. I think this one's even bigger. Classic bream. Keep him just above the net. Look at that, beautiful fish. He's got to be pushing towards 5, I think. That one's got a hell of a belly on it. That's why we have the net and the mat right here. Absolutely beautiful fish. Let's slip this back. Very long left, about 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. The float seems to have gone quiet. Do I continue and hope something else comes along, or do I get the feeder back out? Well, that was the point. I think I'm going to stick with the float as there is still action. There hasn't been for a little while, but that was the point. Maybe I'll give it another 10 minutes on the float and then go on the feeder for a bit. As I am running out of time, sadly. But it's been a blooming good day. The big old bream kind of saved the day, really. And a tench. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to complain. Definitely up there. Best session of the year so far, really. The last one I had only had 2 fish, and the one before that had no fish, so they are improving at long last. about it. Doesn't look like anything else is coming along at the moment. So I'll probably leave the rod out and pack the kit up, and that'll be game over. But yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic day. And it's now blooming warm. I was moaning it was too cold earlier. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.